Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I thought I would share with you what I keep in my bag when I go to travel with some crochet. I did a video like this quite a bit a while ago, I believe, and I just thought maybe I'd make this video just for fun, and maybe if I can find it, I'll link a description, the video from way back a long time ago. I think I talked about it when I went to New York, but anyway, I thought I would show you. Also in the description box, I'll put a link to this bag. This bag was made by Wynn, and she has an Etsy shop. She also has a YouTube channel called Scraptastic Yarns. I am about to head out on a little bit. Oh, see, look, it has her label in there, Wynn Designs. I'm about to head out on a little trip. Maddie and I are heading out to Minnesota with my stepmother, my sister-in-law. We're going to meet my sisters, because remember, both my sisters live in Minnesota, and we are going to go wedding dress shopping. And because I don't have to drive, I'm bringing my crochet with me, and I just thought I would share with you what I was sticking in this bag. Now, this is one of my favorite bags that I like to use to put my little notions in. I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby. I think so. Okay, so sometimes my things are a little redundant, but this is what I have in here. For some reason, I always keep this hook in here as of yet. I have not moved it. It's a 6 hook. This was made for me by a fellow yarn friend. I believe she has a YouTube channel. I'll kind of look through my previous videos and put a link in the description to when I got this hook. I purchased this from her. I might actually, right now in this very moment, move it because I'm not going to need a 6 hook on my trip. Now, up till now, most of my notions I have kept in this little needle pouch. A bit ago, Karen from Happiness is Homemade, which I'm not 100% sure if her channel is still going, she had given me a little pocket. Actually, it was sewed up on either sides and had a button here that she had hand painted, and you could put stuff in it. Well, I decided to modify it, and I actually do have a tutorial on how I made this. And what I did was make it a flat rectangle. I don't seam it up the sides here. I just open it up. I put this panel here that I did sew along one side, so this can be used as a pocket. And then I crocheted in the back loop to give it this ridge look. And here I hang my stitch markers and I tuck my darning needles in there. Now, I do carry an abundance of size of darning needles because I guess you need what you need. Also, just a quick side note, these are my favorite kind of stitch markers. These little hooks. Because in crochet, the little ones that come with this kind of hook, personally for me, are just, I'm trying to get it off. I'm going to ruin it. These kind of hooks are just too hard for me to manage to get around the stitch. I do have some, and I really love this one because if you can see, it's little bird scissors. And you know, if you're a longtime yarn friend of mine, you know I have a thing about little bird scissors. And then, like I said, on this side, I keep a little black embroidery in here, embroidery floss for my faces. For some reason, whoops, I just dropped it. I've been carrying around, this is a crochet hat pattern from Karen Cupcakes. Yeah, so for some reason, I'm carrying that around in this specific little thing. That's all I have in there. But usually, I do tuck my scissors in there. And then I fold it up and I button it down. These buttons were little wood buttons my husband got me from China off of Amazon. So I usually keep this in my to-go crochet bag. Then I kind of started switching. I went to Fiber Yarn Shop a bit ago, and she had these really cute tins. I want to say this is probably like an Altoid tin that somebody had Mod Podged a cute little picture on. My husband and I, when we were dating in high school, used to play Mario Brothers together on the Super Nintendo. And so this just kind of made me think of him. And so I bought this tin, and here are the little treats that I keep in here. another stitch marker with this kind of earring back hook, because you remember those are the ones I like the best. I got 2 of those. I keep this one in here because I am religious, and there's a cross on there. I tend to not, like I said, use these ones as much, but I keep it in there. Who knows when I'm going to need to. I also got this stitch marker. I haven't seen one before like this. It's kind of like a safety pin one. So I keep lots of stitch markers in there. These are the reasons. One, obviously when you're doing amigurumi, you got to mark the beginning of your round. Also, I like to mark where I think I want my first eye and where I want my second eye. And I need stitch markers for that. Also, if I'm mindlessly crocheting something kind of long and it has the chain 3, I like to mark the top of my chain 3 at the beginning of the row so that when I go back to the other side, I don't forget that stitch. Because as you know, the chain 3 sometimes gets lost, and that's when your work starts moving in. I also have a random set of amigurumi eyes in here. This is how safety eyes work if you've never seen them. They're little black pegs that you stick inside of your crochet, and then they have these little discs that you pop onto the other side, and it pinches between the fabric. So I have a set of eyes in here. I have a little pair of scissors. These little scissors I got with my tulip hooks inside of there. I really love these. They're very firm, very sharp. They're not floppy at all. I haven't used them up. I also have a couple darning needles in here. I have a blunt one and a pokey one. I tend to use the darning needles to sew in my ends. I don't weave in my ends. Sometimes I do crochet over them for a little while if they're kind of long. But in the end, what I end up doing is threading a needle, which is why a lot of times I have the blunt one, but I do like the pokey one because then I literally sew them into the double crochet stitches because I just feel like that gives it a firmer attachment and your end isn't going to poke out because I hate it when ends poke out. The other thing I have, one of my knitting buddies recommended, and you can, I want to say I bought these at Joann's. I'll look in the description. I'll look on Amazon and put a link in the description if you can buy this at Amazon if you can't get to a Joann's or a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby. And why I like to use these is sometimes your ends get super teeny tiny, right? And because this has an open end, you can put your teeny tiny end in here and then weave it through. If you're playing yarn chicken, it just happens. I mean, obviously you would prefer to have a good 3 to 4 inches, but if you end up having a teeny tiny end, these type of tools are very helpful in sewing in those little bits. It has a pointy end on the top so that you can get it between the other yarn. It's flexible so it can get into a small space. And in this pack, it had, I want to say, no more than 6, more than 3. In between 3 to 6 of these little things in a pack for a few bucks. I want to say I bought these at Hobby Lobby. And they had different sizes. They had, this is the bigger one, and then they have a few sizes. They're all sprinkled around my bag, because what ends up happening, you guys, is I'll put together like one of these little notions kit or something like this, and I'll put it in with the current project that I'm working on. In this bag, what I'm taking with me on my little trip is my Tunisian crochet project. And what will happen inevitably is that I will just stuff this somewhere and not finish it or forget about it. And then I have to gather up another little set of notions and I'll put that in another bag, which is why I have these 2 active ones right now. The other thing that I have in here, oh, look at this. I have another one of these handmade polymer clay hooks. I'm going to put that over here in my spare hook drawer. I also have this, my Crochet Society tape measure. You never know when you're going to need one. A hair barrette. You can use these for a multitude of reasons besides hair. They are handy in clipping the ends of the yarn to the ball. And then also I keep in this notions bag. Even if I take this out and I go somewhere with it, this usually stays in this bag. And this I got at Fiber Yarn. And it's a way to measure whether or not your yarn is lace, fingering sport, DK, worsted, Aran bulky, or super bulky. In case you've lost the label, or you've inherited some yarn for someone, or you're not necessarily sure, or you're just double checking, because I do know that I feel like I love this yarn as a little thicker than maybe a different worsted weight yarn. So you wrap it around here in this inch, and then however many times you wrap signifies what kind of yarn it is. And I found this, I've tested this on yarn that's labeled that, and it is pretty true. So I keep that in this little bag. So I've got all these little goodies in here, and I'm taking them with me. One more little goodie that I don't have in this bag that I wanted to tell you about that I typically do keep with me nearby are these, like some kind of Post-it. These are like divider Post-its. And the reason I like to keep these is they're nice and handy for marking your place in a pattern book or in a pattern, your favorite page. I use these in that Edward's Imaginarium book. That monster, I took Flinny's and labeled all the parts that he chose with green, and I labeled Jer's with blue so that I could just flip to the pages. So I tend to keep some sort of this kind of like Post-it. There's all kinds of different varieties. There's little tiny thin Post-its, there's these bigger ones, and I like to keep some of those if I have a written pattern or a pattern book in one of my Notions case. And then the final thing that I have that I usually keep, that I had just actually, when I was starting to make this video, getting myself ready for travel, is I like to keep a pen. My new favorite pens are the Frixon, I don't know how to say it. Anyway, these are Pilot pens, and they're erasable ink. These are my new favorite. I've been using the green one upstairs when I was making Jer's Monster, because that's how I keep track of what row I'm on. They click down with this little, the pocket hooker. This is what clips it. This is the erasable ink, and I always keep a pen with me because you don't know when you need to jot down something, what row you're on, what stitch you're on. Sometimes when I start a pattern and I need to mark my right side or my wrong side, like I'll take, let's just say I take this specific stitch marker here, and I'll write down that the flower stitch marker signifies right side of the work. And I'll like to write that on the top of my pattern. And then if I make it again later, I guess I can just cross that off and write down which one it is. So those are the kind of things that I keep with me in my Notions bag when I go to take a project. That's pretty much it. That's all for this video. Like I said, you can tell from my previous video and this one, I'm wearing the same outfit because I'm making these quick before I head out for a couple-day trip. Like I said, we're going to head out to Minnesota, and I wanted to get a couple videos up and loaded before I leave so that I can have one put up maybe tomorrow while I'm in Minnesota. But that is all, my friends. This video is all about what I keep in my bag. That is that. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.